What makes a film disturbing? Well, honestly, to me personally, a movie that's disturbing is something that has a really creepy, eerie atmosphere to it and gets under your skin. It's not about gore or doing grotesque things to other people. That's just shock and awe, or what is known as torture porn. What we see in those movies would never actually happen in real life. Again, they are made just to shock audiences. That's not what makes a truly disturbing film, at least to me. So today I wanted to share one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen. One that really got under my skin and has stuck with me ever since. The title of the movie is Freaks. And I know you're probably thinking to yourself, seriously, a movie made in the 1930s, over 80 years ago? But hear me out as to why this is one of the most disturbing movies that I've seen. But first, a little bit of background of the movie so you get some perspective. Freaks is about little people who have physical disformities and work as circus midgets on a sideshow. They are constantly ridiculed, belittled, mistreated for being little and mostly for their disformities. When a woman trapeze artist befriends one of them and forms a romantic type of friendship, only to betray him for money, and also betrays the group for her own selfish gain. And that's the last straw. The little people decide to take matters into their own hands and takes revenge in a very twisted, disturbing ways. And that last shot in the movie, guys, it still haunts me to today. Now, before the movie was even released, the studio felt the movie was too disturbing for audiences and cut the movie down from an hour and 30 minutes to an hour and 2 minutes. And immediately after its release, the distributor pulled it out of theaters, and consequently the movie was also banned in US, Canada, and Europe until 1985, when the ban was lifted and finally the film was fully released to the public. Now, I first heard of Freaks in my early 20s when I saw an interview with director David Lynch, who described the movie as being one of the most horrific and disturbing films he had ever seen. Now, if you know Lynch's movies, then you know how bold of a statement that is for him to make. So two things ran through my brain. One, if Lynch says that this was so disturbing to him, then I have to see it. And two, really? A movie made in 1932 is disturbing today in modern day? So how bad could a movie from 1932 really be compared to movies I saw up until then? So I found myself a copy and watched it, and guys, I was shocked by this film. And Lynch was more right than I could have possibly known. The overall tone is so eerie and creepy, it really got underneath my skin like no other movie had. I think one of the main reasons was because they used real deformed little people with different abnormalities that were cast in these roles, which brought a lot more realism and impact to the movies and the character. The acting is so genuine and real. They really feel as if these little people were really going through these horrible situations, and you really felt for them. It really tugged on the heartstrings. But that is until they go into a murderous rampage near the end of the film. This movie made an impact on me and taught me a valuable lesson. Film has no age, meaning it doesn't matter how old a film is, it can still be just as effective 80 plus years ago as it is today in 2019. What's so terrifying is their response to the treachery of the normal people who exploit them. There are two circus performers who try to kill Hans, one of the little people, to get his money. And then they turn the tables, and it is a creepy and dark scene. The final act is perfection. Set and filmed during a real rainstorm, we see them act on their vengeance. It's a very twisted and almost surreal scene as we see the freaks crawl through the rain and the mud, determined to savage their victims. And they start picking them off one by one in strange, violent ways. And then the showdown with the main culprit, the trapeze artist. But what they do to her is the most disturbing part of the movie, as we see one final shot of her by the little people's vengeance. Now, what makes this even more disturbing is that director Todd Browning lets us in on these people's day-to-day lives. And doing this, Browning gets us to sympathize with the little people. And they are also very noble and good-hearted people. They would never turn on a friend, and they help each other overcome their disabilities until they are pushed too far. You can completely understand why they would want to seek revenge, but at the same time, you turn against them as they take things just too far, as these good-hearted people turn themselves into the film's little freaks. Yes, Freaks is an old film, but honestly, I think that's what makes it even creepier, because back then they shot everything reel for real, which makes it an even more impactful and disturbing film. It's without a doubt that Freaks is a genuine horror movie and a horror gem, and it's considered to this day as one of the grandfathers of horror and horror directors, Todd Browning. And I hope someday a place like Criterion or Arrow Video will release this on Blu-ray. If you've seen Freaks, let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely hunt it down. I know it's available on DVD, on Amazon, and I believe VOD in some different places. It's definitely worth checking out and to see for yourself if you think it's a disturbing film. And come back and let me know what you think of it. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for supporting this little channel here. Stay tuned for some more film analysis videos, some more movie reviews and Blu-ray reviews. And I have a Lost Cinema coming up that I'm going to drop in the next couple weeks. Guys, check out our in-depth review of the new 80s horror documentary, In Search of Darkness. Once again, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the future.